Hello on this once again a rainy day. It started out with sunshine, but now it is dribbling on the roof of the greenhouse today. Welcome to March 24th. Palm Sunday. To protect your house from lightning, folklore advises gathering hazel tree branches on Palm Sunday and keeping them in water. I have no idea where that came from. Absolutely none. I'm going to look that up though and see what basis that has in either fact or fantasy. Here are my two projects for today. You'll recognize the potatoes, which are growing fantastic. Got their lovely little second leaves on them. They're ready to be repotted, lots of them. But I'm gonna have to find enough containers for them. Second part is, well, my once again forgotten about seedling, and you can see that well, I mean, they're still alive because they have water. Most of them are still alive. These onions, they're pretty small though, and marigolds didn't do anything at all. I think I'm gonna have to find another way to deal with these. Here, these, remember, these are these little ones down here are the kale. Now these kale were planted quite a while before the ones I put in soil, and the ones I put in soil are, well, they're ready to go in the ground. So I am absolutely just gonna have to figure out a better way to start these hydroponic babies. I do have an idea, but once again, I'm gonna have to test it. And some of these potatoes might be the perfect test. All right, I got my potatoes. Lovely little potatoes. I've got plenty of pots, and don't worry, there are more where this came from, but the first thing I'm gonna do is actually use these two little Wendy's cups I've cut some holes in. And I'm going to try out a new type of hydroponic starting with these. It's kind of going to be a hybrid type of system, and I want to use it on an actual growing plant first, because I don't want to be concerned with germination rates right now. Lots of perlite in the bottom of the cup, and all over the potatoes too. Dust. There we go. Now I'm actually going to put soil on top of the perlite. What this will allow me to do is see the roots spread. Now once they've actually gotten into the soil and the roots are starting to spread down here, I'll be able to put these in some water so that the roots can get a little bigger. Now obviously I'm going to have to transplant these so they can actually grow potatoes, but that won't be for quite a while yet. Alrighty. Let's see how these potatoes did. have let these dry out somewhat. I can see what looks like little roots through the holes, and they're not coming out very easily. So it's time for the stick. Come on out in one. Well, it's starting to come out. Ooh, look at all those roots. Isn't that beautiful? Very gently loosen the soil from the bottom. Try to untangle some of these roots before I tackle the top. There we go. Probably a bunch of these babies could actually go back in a cup in these little bunches. I'll leave them back in here, and then I'll settle the teeny tiny ones back in bunches. There we go. This is an excellent specimen of a potato from seed. Lots of lovely healthy roots. I can see the white at the tips, meaning it is in active growth. Unfortunately, I think it's actually these are actually a little too big for this. I'm going to have to get this one planted. Go and down there. This mix is simple Bi-Mart potting mix, very cheap potting mix with a 10-10-10 fertilizer mixed at a rate of 1 tablespoon to every gallon pot of soil. 1 tablespoon for every one of these that I scoop up, and that has worked well for me for years. One little baby potato plant. Ha ha ha. Aha, here we go. This one is perfect for the cup. It's pretty teeny tiny, and yet it does have some second leaves. Here we go. I'll just poke a little hole in here. It will have some nutrition from this potting soil, but is definitely going to reach down. Lovely. One experimental. Ooh, way too big. And I don't think I can save that one. I'll try, but I don't think I can save that one. This is a good. Now obviously I don't have enough bags for all of these potatoes, but luckily in May, my library is going to have a plant trade day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my extra potatoes, all my extra kales, not a whole lot, spinach that I'm going to start today or tomorrow over there. What I've seen happens is people do bring a lot of house plants, and I like to provide vegetable starts. There we go, baby number 2. And this is how I will just keep going. Babies that are just too small get Now, this is a teeny tiny baby with a very long root, and I can see white at the tips. It's growing very well, but it doesn't necessarily have its second leaves yet. It's just a tiny bit too small for my experimental group. It needs to go back in and do some more growing. So back into the blue container, and I'll keep searching. Oh, can you promise that? Come on. Come on out. Come on. Come on. Here we go. But you have a buddy. Your buddy's gonna have to do some more growing. Here we go. This is great. This is great for the experimental system. Get in there. Into there. There we go. These are going to have to be watered very delicately because these second leaves are not quite big enough to really give oomph to the plant. So a very gentle watering when I'm ready to water those. Oh. You're a monster. Oh my goodness. Come on. Come on. Yep. Look at this. Ah, beast. Beast. Absolute huge. Look at that size of that internode. I'm going to bury it up to here. Look at this. Look at this. It's too big for my planter. I'm gonna have to go get a new. I'm gonna have to get bigger planters for some of these. Here, baby. How about you? Yeah. Is that gonna be? Yep. That's gonna be big enough. Ooh, and that's gonna take up a lot of my potting soil. I'm gonna have to make some more potting soil. My goodness. Go on. In you go. Side, and that one's happy. Well, this is going to take a while. All right, I finished teasing them all out, what you'd call pricking out, and I've got 42 of the best potato seedlings, which is a whole lot more than I thought I would get. I still have ones that are, these really aren't viable. They don't really have roots. These are minimally viable. They do have roots, but just teeny tiny ones. Here's my problem. I have 42 beautiful seedlings. I have a maximum of 22 pots. So even if I had room in the greenhouse for all of these, which I don't, even if I had room on the deck for all of these, which I don't even have enough pots for all of them. I could use temporary cups for these pots, for these seedlings, but that costs me money. And these seedlings are not going to make me any money this year. These are simply for food and for fun. Obviously, I don't have 42 cloth bags to put all these babies in. I will put some of them into the temporary cups, but you know, I'm going to grow other stuff. This is the trade-off that gardeners have to learn to make all the time. You have to let the ones that you can't grow go into the compost. And yeah, you're going to feel pretty bad for a little while, but I guarantee in a day or two, when you plant something else, that feeling of loss is going to go away. So let's find the best 11 of these. I will probably plant 5 of them and take the rest to the plant trade at the library in May. All right, I've put my little sacrificials into the compost pile. Now, what makes a really good seedling? Well, here's one who has decent roots. Oh, there's another little sacrificial and a couple of little sacrificials there. I might actually wind up accidentally leaving some of these sacrificials in there just because I don't see them. Is there one with... here we go. Here is an example. These are 2 pretty darn good seedlings. And they have a decent root length on both of them. But I like this better. I like this one on the left better. This has an extremely long internode, which makes me think that while it was growing, this one was struggling for light, so it just shot towards the sky to try to get as much light as it could, which is good. I mean, I can easily bury it, and I will probably choose to have this one, but this one I'm going to choose first. It's short, it's squat, the leaves are darker. I like it better. Now, are all these seeds were labeled Skagit Gold. Are all these seedlings going to produce Skagit Gold potatoes? There is no way of knowing. If the grower who produced the seeds was extremely careful that only the pollen from Skagit Gold got to that potato, then yeah, probably get Skagit Gold potatoes from all of them. It's entirely possible I'll get lots of potatoes that aren't Skagit Gold. I might get no potatoes off it at all, depending on the genetics of the pollinator. So, 1. We'll set that one aside. Another good short squat one with plenty of root. 2, 3, 4. I love the bunches of roots down here on this one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The stem on this is a little shrimpy, but I still like it. 9. Let's see the roots. Now. Between these two, I would actually pick this one because it has the better root system. 10. But I am going to pick this one as number 11. Now, that is not to say all of these are going into the compost immediately. I will set them aside, and I may wind up planting 1 or 2 a little later. But I am going to pick out the best ones. And all the teeny tiny little ones are going to go into the compost. These all have really great roots right here. And maybe just one more. Sorry guys, you have to go into the compost. I'm sorry. Now, what do I do with all this seedling soil? Well, it's going to go into my recycle pot. I will use it for soil in bags. But I don't want to use it again for seeds. Here's my recycle pot so far. It's got a generous amount of junk in it, but it smells okay. There's no mold or mildew in it, and there's a bunch of seedling pot stuff and some used up fertilizer balls. It'll be okay. Now I need, I'd say at least 2 more gallons of soil. And 2. And I should probably do my best to use up this Lily Miller. This Lily Miller 10-10-10. There really isn't much difference from Lily Miller and Scott's, even though the Scott's says all-purpose flower and vegetable. Lily Miller says all-purpose planting and growing. Slow release and a lush steady growth. Contains slow release nitrogen, same thing, 10-10-10. Here's the Lily Miller. It looks a little more like sand. There's one of that. And here is the Scott's, containing, some brightly colored stuff, and it's a lot more in chunks, but the Lily Miller bag has been pretty abused, so a lot of these chunks in the Lily Miller bag have broken down into powder, which doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all. So one of those. So one of the Scott's, one of the Lily Miller, it's okay. It doesn't matter that I'm mixing them as long as I get the ratio right. Always keep your fertilizer dry. Again, don't pack it down. It'll settle by itself. Just make sure to fill it to the rim. Shake it. I'm going to do something cruel to this poor little potato seedling, but it's going to help in the end. I'm going to take this and nip off the end of the roots. It seems mean, but those long dangling roots aren't going to help it in these little pots. I would really like to see it grow a lot more roots off of these. And again, how do you decide if you need to snip off the roots? How do you decide where? Well, I take a look at how thick these roots are, and then when they start to thin out at the bottom, take it and just, you can also do this with scissors or little pruners, that's fine. I don't have any with me. And just very gently, because those roots are pretty delicate. I love these little fine hairs that are coming off the potato leaf. Just extraordinary biologically how those hairs developed in the potato plant. And yeah, you can cover those 2 first leaves. It's not a problem. The plant doesn't actually need these brand new, these very first 2 leaves that it comes out with. It doesn't need it anymore. What it really needs is the water, the sunshine, and the food I put into the soil. Sunshine. Ha! Oregon, we'd really like some more sunshine. If Mother Nature could see her way clear to providing us with that, that'd be great. Thanks. Put that a little deeper. What happens when you put it a little deeper than you want it? Well, luckily, if you didn't pack the soil tightly, it's actually not difficult to give it just a little lift up and reposition it. Another reason you don't want to pack your soil in tightly into the cups. Does the shape of the planter matter? Absolutely not. Not at all. Personal preference. Whew, that 2 gallons of soil went fast, didn't it? Here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the best. 2 in the experimental pots, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Because, and I'll show you. Baby, 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 and potential babies here. And I'm going to need pots for all of them. And as well, somebody else going to have to find a new home, maybe outside. I am running out of room already. And this is a bigger greenhouse than I had before.